And welcome to part 32 of the Pokemon Go walkthrough. We are now going to be making our way through the ice path, which basically all it is just a giant cave with no trainers to battle against. It's basically just, it's basically a cave that has some slippery ground, a couple puzzles to go through, some Pokemon to run into, but if you're smart like me with a bunch of super repels, you should be able to walk right through it, no problem. This here takes me about a good 5 minutes to go through, which is a lot quicker than I thought it would be, so I ended up actually not only doing the ice path, but the gym leader in this video when I thought I'd only be able to do one of them, so huzzah for that. There's a couple of items to get in here. I believe there's 3 hidden items you can get, and with that said, let's go through the stats of the ice path. When you're on the first floor, because there are I think there's 4 different floors here. When you're on the first floor, like we are right now, gold version, you can run to a Zubat, 25% in the morning, 20% in the afternoon, 25% at night. Silver version, 5% morning and at night, no chance in the afternoon. And a crystal version, 30% all across the board. Golbat in all 3 versions at a 30% chance all across the board. Jinx in the gold and silver version, 5% morning and night, 10% in the afternoon. Crystal version, 1% morning and afternoon, no chance at night. Sweenub in the gold and silver version, 40% all across the board. Crystal version, 40% morning, afternoon, no chance at night. Silver version only, Delibird, one of the rarities for silver only, 20% all across the board. And crystal version, 40% at night only. When we're in the first basement floor, like we all are now, which again has a bit of a rock pushing puzzle, which you're going to need to complete in order to get to the next area, basically. But while we're here, now let me just make sure that a lot of these stats aren't exactly the same. Okay, they're not. Okay, so Zubat for crystal, silver, and gold, all exactly the same. Golbat, gold, silver, only 30% chance across the board, while Golbat in crystal version is a 29% chance all across the board. Jinx, gold and silver, 5% morning, afternoon, 5% morning, evening, 10% in the afternoon. Crystal version, 1% morning and afternoon, no chance at night. Crystal version only for a Sneasel. I don't know why it's only in crystal version, but whatever. 1% chance at night only. So he's a real rarity to run into. And then looking at it, it looks like the other stats are exactly the same. Yes, they are. Then you have basement floor 2, which looking at it, looks like all of them are exactly the same. Except Sneasel in crystal version jumps from a 1% chance to a 5% chance when you're in the basement floor number 2, like we are now. I think this is basement floor number 2 or one of the yeah, I think it is. And then basement floor number 3, Sneasel, 10% chance at night only. So basically, you're going to want to go to basement floor number 3 if you want to catch yourself a Sneasel. It's the best chance in order to get them. And it looks like other than that, all the other stats are relatively about the same. Not too much out of the way to really go into saying the exact same stats over and over again. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, a lot of what the cave is just basically going through a couple puzzles, because you have the slippery ice, you take a step on it, it slides you all the way through. A lot of, almost any kind of Game Boy, or even some old school Nintendo games, have that kind of gimmick in it. You can either use Rock Smash or go all the way around. You can never melt ice, the hold item that powers up ice-type moves. Another thing to bring up is that in Blackthorn City, which is actually what it's called, if you go there, I think it's on Saturdays, you meet another one of the siblings, and you get, I think it's like a spell tag, where they're holding it, you have a less chance of running into wild Pokemon, I believe. This is just going off the top of my head here, and I don't really feel like looking it up. But, no, like I said, with this ice cave, it's nothing too hard, other than the couple of hidden items laying around. But, even if you don't have you definitely want a super repel if you're going to be going through this cave, because obviously, like any kind of cave, no matter where you step, there's a chance of running into a Pokemon, and they really like to spawn in this area. Nothing too hard to face against, though, but again, having no trainers, which I can't figure why, but, I guess they just felt that, I guess all the trainers going into this was enough. But without trainers, like I said, without trainers, if you use the super repel, you can fly through this cave in just 5 minutes. No biggie. I mean, we're finishing it up right now, basically. And now we're in Blackthorn City, home of the Dragon-type gym. And the reason why I stopped is because I thought that person was going to try and battle me, and I wasn't prepared for what was coming up on it. And so this is where I thought I'd be done, but then when I realized it was only 5 minutes long, I decided to continue on. So what I did was, during that jump cut, I decided to go out of my way and grind Lapras from level 33 up to level 36 so that he learns the move Ice Beam, because only Ice-type moves and other Dragon-type moves are the Dragon's only weakness, depending on what other type it has. Actually, no, I think that's about it, because Dragon types have a resistance to water, fire, electric, I believe. It has resistance to quite a lot out there, and again, its only weakness is Ice and Dragon type. So, you know, going out of the way to get Ice Beam was a really good idea. And Ice Beam is one of the moves that you cannot get through a TM in this game. In fact, it's only in Generation 2 that you can't get Ice Beam as a TM. I'm not sure exactly why they did that, but you can only learn Ice Beam through a select few Pokemon that can learn through leveling up. Lapras being one of them. I know Seal and Dugong can learn it. Shelder, before evolving into a Cloyster, can learn it, and Articuno can learn it, and I do believe those are the only Pokemon that can actually learn Ice Beam as a move in the second generation. And basically, by having the Ice Beam, you know, we fly through this gym like it's nothing. You know, there are very limited Dragon types you can get. And in this point of where Pokemon was at, you know, Dratini, Dragonair, Dragonite. You can get the Kingdra, which is half water, half dragon. Again, Gyarados should be water dragon, but it's water flying, so it doesn't really count. But because of that fact, especially with Kingdra being water dragon, yes, we're going to be going against a Kingdra against the gym leader. Spoiler alert, if any of you guys didn't know that. We're going to go a lot of Seadras and Horsies. So, obviously with Lapras, you know, having body slams is a really big thing. This Seadra kind of takes a while because it's a high level. They got really good physical defense, or at least good enough anyways. And of course he hits through a smoke screen, so that kind of makes me miss. I think it's only one time. But because of the limited amount of Dragon types that you can go out of your way to get, you know, Dragon types are, I wouldn't say a rarity to get, but at the same time, you're not really going to be running too much into them. In fact, I think you can get yourself a Dratini through going gambling for it. You know, if you get enough coins, you can buy one, and I think you can get one in the Dragon's Den, which you head to after beating the gym leader. I'm not fully sure. Again, it's, you know, as much as I know about the game, it depends on how recently I played it, and it really hasn't been all that recent for me, basically. I'm trying to think. I really do believe those are the only Dragon types that you actually do run into when it comes to Gen 1 and Gen 2. Because Dragon type, you know, it's considered a very powerful type, which it is, unless it goes against, even when it goes against its own other type, it's kind of good. But when going against an Ice type, it's basically kind of screwed, depending on the move set, what your opponent does, all that kind of stuff. You know, but you know, that's why Ice is the way to go. You know, it's the one way to take out the legendary Dragon types. Even nowadays, getting Dragon types, I wouldn't say is hard, but they're the least type of Pokemon you're gonna find in Dragon type. You know, you can find every other type of Pokemon easily, but Dragon types are one of the few ones that's a little bit rare to run into. But anyways, the gym doesn't really take that long to go through. You got a couple of Dratinis, you have a couple of people that send out Dragonairs, Horsea, Seadra, and that's really all you're going to be facing. You know, no one really throws in a kind of curveball at you. You know, they only throw out Pokemon that can learn Dragon-type moves, which, you know, some of them can, but at much higher levels. And for whatever reason, it seems like when you go against trainers, some gym leaders, but going against trainers before a gym leader, even rivals, they seem to never want to use TMs, which I think I've ranted about this before, how it makes going against your rivals so easy because they only use moves that their Pokemon can learn rather than teaching them TMs. So while you're sitting here at like level 20 with like, say, Surf, Earthquake, two other moves that Wooper could probably learn, and you go against your rival that has like a level 25, but he still has Growl, he has Leer, he has Tackle, and like one actual good move, because that's the only good move it learns through leveling up and not using a TM. And I really hope that they correct that when Generation 6 comes out, because, I mean, You know, I know trainers are basically supposed to be like a basic grind, you know, giving yourself little to no challenge, but helping you get your Pokemon leveled up. But come on, you gotta, you know, eventually you gotta start going against ones that actually have a greater moveset to go against, especially when it comes to the rival. I mean, no one has any kind of fun going against a rival that is extremely easy to take down. You know, it kind of takes away from feeling good about yourself when you do it. And I almost forgot about this guy, considering the fact that I kind of walked away from him and then realized that I was going through. Had to come right back. And looking up Generation 6 right now, it looks like the region is going to be called Kalos. K-A-L-O-S, so pronounce that however you will. I'm going to pronounce it Kalos because that's the way it just looks right now. And other than that, there really hasn't been anything else. It looks like that's really come out. I know I'm going to be getting the Pokemon Y version because that legendary deer thing looks pretty fucking ridiculous. So I'm going to go with the Y version with Yveltal. And the cool, and I wouldn't say cool thing, but so far both of them, their types are unknown, along with Sylveon, the type that Eevee evolves into, that's also unknown. So there's still rumors about a new type coming out. We're not exactly sure. And there's also the thing that involves, I guess, Mewtwo's second form. Whether it's a rumor, if it's another form of Mewtwo that you can transform it into through a trade or through evolution, or if it's just like a Mew 3 or something like that. We're not exactly sure. Some people think it looks badass. I kind of am there on it. It doesn't look all that impressive. I think the original Mewtwo looks a little bit more badass, which is kind of what they were going for with it. And this one looks a little too cutesy. Even though they're trying to make it look mean by having a glare and whatnot, it still looks way too cutesy in my eyes. But that's just me. If you like it, then you like it. If you don't, like me, then it's just whatever. But here we are. We're going to be going against Claire. Now, she has 3 Dragonairs and a Kingdra. Now, because all 3 Dragonairs are exactly the same level, I don't know which ones they're going to be sending out when, but I can give you the moveset for all 3 of them. The first one here, which I guarantee will always have Surf, Slam, Thunder Wave, and Dragon Breath. And then the next 2, one of them has Thunderbolt, Slam, Thunder Wave, Dragon Breath, Ice Beam, Slam, Thunder Wave, Dragon Breath. So basically all 3 Dragonairs have the exact same type moves, except for one has Surf, one has Thunderbolt, one has Ice Beam. Okay, so there, you know, and again, with Ice Beam, especially at level 37, it's a breeze to just shred through them like it's nothing. When you finally defeat Claire, she'll tell you that, you know, she doesn't accept it. You have to go through the Dragon's Den first to prove that you're a true Pokemon trainer before she decides to give it to you, along with the move Dragon Breath, which is, in this game, I think it's the best Dragon-type move in this game. They throw out some better ones, but, you know, hey, for what it is in this game, it works. And I think Lapras, I will be teaching it to, because, you know, you never know when Dragon Breath is going to come in handy. What if I run out of moves for Ice Beam? You know, you never know. Alright, and then last but not least, we will be having Kingdra coming out. Water Dragon type, evolves through Seadra when you trade it with another player holding on to the, I want to say it's the Dragon Scale. Smokescreen, Dragon Breath, Surf, and Hydro Beam. Not a bad moveset. I'd get rid of Smokescreen for a different move. I think Kingdra can learn Ice... Well, okay, no. Well, it can learn Ice Beam through TM, but again, through this game, I don't think it can learn it. It might though. I'm not exactly sure, but I tried out a different move for Smokescreen. But, I mean, it works. I mean, it had me miss my first Thunder Wave. Kingdra is one I've always liked because it literally has only one weakness, which is Dragon. That is it. Because it's part water, the ice weakness doesn't work against it. It just makes it a neutral type. So the only way to hurt it is through using Dragon type. So that makes, in my opinion, it makes Kingdra a pretty damn good opponent or good Pokemon to have. Obviously, you couldn't see it here because of how badly I thrashed it. But again, you know, because of the fact that it's part water, part dragon, you know, the thunder resistance in dragon, but the water double effective with thunder, it evens it out. And because it's a, you know, a stab attack for me, it does quite a shit ton of damage, and especially with a critical hit on top of that, you know, it's not really that hard. So Claire's basically just told us that we have to go to the Dragon Den to, you know, prove whatever. And that's what we're going to be doing next. We're going to be taking care of the Dragon Den, along with doing some other exploring, because after this we will finally be able to use the move Waterfall and explore areas we haven't been able to. So we'll see you guys then.